Hello, and welcome to the Marvel Cinematic Monday podcast. My name is Josh. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and we're ready to talk all about Marvel things comics, news, movies, TV, all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to bring in my co pilot, my sidekick, if you will. His name is Chip. How you doing, Chip?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how are you today, man? It's been a couple weeks.
Feeling fantastic. Just hanging out, ready for that season finale, man.
Oh man, I know, right? I feel like I just want to blow through all the rest of this show real quick to get to WandaVision because man, were those last two episodes
Yeah,
fantastic.
I felt the same way. I kept having to remind myself that just because we finished this podcast doesn't mean that I get to go watch the new episode right away. I still gotta wait a couple days. It's a problem.
Yeah, it's all right, man. It's all right. Well, I want to thank everyone for watching. I got a couple people in here. Hello, everybody. Um, and for again, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And for all of our past episodes, you can find us at Marvel Cinematic Monday. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, just search for Marvel Cinematic Monday. You can follow us on Twitter at MCM Pod and Instagram Marvel Cinematic Monday, all one word. We are also all part of the Twist My Arm network, which is a network of podcasters. There's a lot of different shows. Sudden but Inevitable Rewatch, where we watch Firefly. There's Best Flicks with Ricky D. He just had a new episode this week. We got a TMA Games podcast with Micah that's been pretty fun. We got the Movement podcast. We got the Basement Sessions. Quest Me is going to be coming back whenever the Bad Batch comes around in May. And of course, we got the Marvel Cinematic Monday podcast and the Twist My Arm podcast, where we interview local businesses and stuff. So there's a lot going on. So for all of those shows, they're all in one place, and it's at twistmyarmpodcast.com. And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Twist My Arm Podcast and on Twitter at Twist My Arm Cast. So yeah, now that all of those plugs are out of the way, we have kind of a packed show, but it's not like crazy.
Not the. It's
I
it's
don't
pretty
know.
packed. There's a lot to unpack.
I like that. That's yeah, I like that a lot. Well, yeah, let's just start it all up. We'll just do it. And now it's time for Marvel News. That's right. It's time for Marvel News. Um First thing on the docket that I got for Marvel News is more of a rumor. I think you have a rumor too, so
Mhm.
it's first bit of news. Jennifer Lawrence is apparently going to be the Invisible Woman, according to comicbookmovie.com. Jennifer Lawrence is said to have joined the cast of the MCU Fantastic Four reboot. It's a rumor. What say you to that?
That's I don't know. I guess I don't mind it. I don't mind Jennifer Lawrence, I guess. But I mean I don't mind Jennifer Lawrence, but I guess I don't picture her as the invisible woman, but I
I
mean
picture her more of like a
could work.
Mystique type.
She could probably play Mystique. Hmm, they could look into that, I think.
I know, right? I always thought Evan Peters would make a great Quicksilver, and they did a good job bringing him in as Quicksilver. Like
Ah, yeah, totally just the best. He I liked his Quicksilver. It was an interesting take on the character in the X-Men movies. Like
yeah,
it was interesting.
I don't know. I guess the only reason I liked him is because of his two scenes that he had.
But yeah,
The fun runny scenes that were all flashy and stuff. But
mhm.
that's about it. So anyway, just kidding. The final Fantastic Four. What am I doing? The Fantastic Four reboot is really only in pre-production, so there has been no casting at all. Um, this comes from comingsoon.net. Marvel Studios Fantastic Four gets a new pre-production update And yeah, it comes. So Justin Kroll. All I'm gonna say is this: Marvel just started meeting with writers on Fantastic Four. There's no script, and it will be a while before the film starts shooting. So they haven't even written a script yet. How are they gonna start casting when?
Wow. So, huh? So I feel
Yep.
like the door's still open. I can still get my story in there.
I mean, maybe. I guess.
Shoehorn Nova in. That's all I would do.
Aren't they doing a Nova story though? I thought they
That's
were
what I
doing
hear.
that.
That's what I hear. I don't think there's been any casting yet. I'm gonna have to get in shape, put my hat in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably a good call. Um, I mean, I agree with you though. I think it would be cool to see Jennifer Lawrence as the Invisible Woman, but I just after reading that second article, I don't think that that's actually gonna be a thing
No,
quite yet.
I wouldn't mind it, but like, it's whatever. There's
Yeah.
not like a specific actress I have in mind to play it. So I mean, it's all good. Whatever's
Right.
better. Depends on how
Um.
old you're gonna cast them. Like,
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true. It's very true. Um. What was your? I know you had a rumor as well. What was your rumor that you were bringing up
I
earlier?
had a Spider-Man rumor.
Ooh, those are my favorite.
Yep. So apparently, in the Spider-Man 3, that is not well, according to Tom Holland, not gonna involve Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire. Reportedly, Tobey Maguire is wearing multiple suits, so they
Oh.
may be doing a little montage where they show him in different periods, like a la Into the Spider Verse. And I don't know, the image that they shared with it was just like the coolest part. It's like him in like a leather spider suit, and he's all rugged and old. Looks pretty badass.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool to see like you were saying in different time periods where they go to like Spider-Man 1 where he's fighting the Green Goblin, Spider-Man 2 where he's fighting Doc Ock. And that would make sense. Cameron says that they should cast Fantastic Four older. That makes
I,
sense.
I honestly, I'm really kind of hoping that we see John Krasinski and oh gosh, I'm blanking on his wife's name right now, but I feel like she would be a good Invisible Woman. Get the two of them, let him direct, call it good.
Isn't that what everyone has been wanting though?
I feel like that's what
It's
enough people have been wanting. That's what they should goddamn do.
it's
Like
been like pushed really hard for a long time, I feel like.
he he directed the hell out of A Quiet Place. Like that movie was fantastic. I I'm so excited for A Quiet Place 2. They just keep shoving it back, shoving it back. It's basically Black Widow at this point.
Ah,
But
that's too bad.
yeah, yeah. But that would be cool. I would like to see that. But yeah,
All
that
right.
was and I just now thought of another small piece of news, like because I
Emily
mentioned Black
Blunt.
Widow.
Is that her
Emily
name?
Blunt.
Emily Blunt? Okay,
Yes,
cool.
Emily
Cool,
Blunt.
cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, they also just revealed on Hasbro Pulse today a new Black Widow toy from the Marvel Legends 6-inch set. It's a 2-pack of Red Guardian and Rachel Weisz's character, Melina. I forget the last name now, but it's a 2-pack of those two. And they just
Okay.
announced it today, so that means they're at least thinking about stepping up promotion for it again. So hopefully,
Right.
Black Widow's finally coming around the corner.
Yeah. Have they last I heard about that, they weren't going to release it in theaters or they weren't going to release it on streaming. They were just going to do theaters.
And that, honestly, that tells me that it's not time sensitive, so it doesn't matter. Like
Sure.
it can like if it tied into the overall scheme in an important way, it would be more time sensitive for it to come out at a certain point. But the fact that they can just keep pushing it tells me like they really just kind of like, yeah, we'll give Scarlett Johansson her own movie. She's been around long enough, but it's not gonna matter. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I really feel like it. it makes me less optimistic about it. The fact that they're not like, oh, we need to get this out.
Yeah. And I heard that with Spider-Man 3, which is coming out in December, they're just exclusively releasing it in theaters. Like they're adamant about only releasing it in theaters.
I mean, I would.
I don't know.
I mean, I would love.
They they
I
would
would
probably just push it
absolutely
back.
love to get a press screener to like review that movie for you guys. So I would love to do that for you, Marvel. Feel free
Hit
to
us up.
send me some tickets to that theater.
There you go. Um,
But
so
I
last
don't
week I
know.
was
I haven't been to the theater. Honestly, I have not been to the cinema since the Rona times started.
the
So
Rona times.
I don't know, but I always like half joked and was half serious. Like, well, I mean, if they drop a new Marvel movie, I kind of have to go. Just throw on the beekeeper suit. I'll just say I'm cosplaying as an AIM soldier.
There you
Be all
go.
good. Yeah.
That's the best idea ever. um, Speaking of Spider-Man, they did release the official title this
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah. They released what, three or four different titles?
They released 4 titles total, but the first 3 were fake. And yeah, well, it was Home Slice, Home Wrecker, and the other. What was the other one? Because they all were supposedly people were picking it apart and saying that it had to do with the other Spider-Mans, like Home Slice. Tobey Maguire was a pizza delivery man in Spider-Man 2.
Mm.
And so they were like, well, he did that. And then Home Wrecker, Andrew Garfield basically killed the entire Stacy family. So he
I
wrecked
mean,
that home.
that's less of a stretch than
I
less of a stretch than I thought.
can't remember what the other one was, though.
Wasn't it Home Run or something? Or was that
Home
just Home?
Alone. Home Alone, I think.
Mm.
And was it Home Alone? I
Because
can't
Aunt May's
remember.
out getting tagged by John Favreau.
No, because everyone in his life besides Aunt May is dead or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But either way, this new one is called No Way Home, is the official title. And they did release a video which was fun where they were in John Watt's office and uh Tom Holland comes out and he's like, "Yeah, he gave me another fake name." And they're like, "Well, I'm not surprised. His 2 friends that he was with are MJ and Ned.
Ned.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You know, you do spoil things." And he's like, "I don't spoil things. What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, the last Spider-Man movie, you definitely spoiled that." And so then, then they release it. There's a whiteboard. Everyone was picking apart the whiteboard because it had the official name on it, but then there was like um all this other stuff. Let me see if I can go find it.
I believe if you check on the MCM IG page, there was a post made that was that picture.
I got it. I got it right here. So this was basically what it was. Sorry about the weird little thing. Let's get out of there. Okay, so close to home. They just wrote a bunch of random stuff on there. I like the
It's less.
webcamming. Keep it
Yeah,
PG.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
It's less random than you think, though. That's like the interesting part. There's a lot of Easter eggs on this whiteboard.
go on.
Well, they got there's definitely hexes on there. Like, did you notice the hexes?
Oh yeah, there's
Several
well,
of them.
but those
I
are more
mean,
like
those are,
molecules, right? Those are
aren't they though? I mean, interestingly enough, they are. I mean, but they're also hexagons.
what I mean, what could that possibly do though? Like they're
I mean, it's a link to WandaVision.
oh, okay. All right. All right. I guess I
They
could.
had home run crossed out, but then they had speedball. Speedball is one of the new warriors, and that could be a
Huh.
way to introduce Nova without playing in the cosmic realm, uh, because
Interesting.
Nova started out on Earth as one of the new warriors.
Okay.
Uh,
Homesick.
yeah, wanna go home.
Want to go home,
Work
work
from
from
home
home.
crossed out. close to home, then it says that's a little close to home. There's also a cube on there, and you could just say that that's a doodled cube or it's the tesseract,
Oh my god.
which is
You're
definitely
right. I mean, and
hinting
there's
to Loki.
what's this thing up here? The little that looks like a something.
That's an arc reactor.
Oh, okay. That
It's
makes sense.
definitely an arc reactor.
That
Um,
makes sense.
and then I
Okay,
think
so there's a lot of stuff on there then that yeah. But then I mean, let's see. Where's that Nova thing? Cuz I did just have oh, they haven't put it on here yet. I found it's like an official upcoming release thing. Um that has all the different dates and stuff and all and like the order of how they're coming out. And at the bottom here, I really like these cuz you got Guardians 3 and then Secret Invasion and then Ironheart, Armor Wars, Fantastic
Ironheart is
Four.
gonna be a series, right? I want to say it's a cartoon.
I'm not sure, but it's supposed to be about like the female Iron Man, right?
Yeah, for sure. Riri Williams.
Okay.
She reverse engineers her own suit.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
So the one thing though is there's no Avengers or Young Avengers or anything. This is a lot of stuff without having some sort of team up movie.
That's
So
very true.
I'm wondering if I wonder if they're gonna let that go for a minute. Just not do team ups for a while. Which could be
Armor Wars is
okay.
gonna be a team up movie. Um,
You think?
oh yeah, oh yeah. Armor Wars is like not gonna be contained to just like Rhodey and just Rhodey now. Jeez, Tony's dead. Oh man, I'm still adjusting to a world without Tony Stark. Wow.
It's okay, man. Breathe. We're good. We're all right.
Yeah, so just Rhodey? I don't think Armor Wars is like, I don't know. You gotta have more people involved than that.
Yeah,
Probably
I guess
Falcon
that's
and
true.
Winter Soldier because I feel like Captain America would be involved, but like he's not around, so you just replace him with both of them. I don't
Yeah.
know. Armor Wars could be a team up movie.
Okay. All right. I'll accept that.
Potential.
I'll accept it. Um. Dang.
But then again, it could just be like, it could be a team up movie, but not necessarily on the level of like Avengers or like
Sure.
Infinity War, or
Sure.
like it could be more like the first Avengers where you just have like 5 or 6 people coming together as a team for just that movie. Like that happens all the time in comics. They have like random team ups, but like the team then, all right, guys, deuces, back to
Yeah.
doing my own thing.
Yeah. That's kind of how the Defenders was. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
they just
Yeah,
kind of teamed up for a little short series and then they were over it. But
yeah,
out of all of those things, so this is it. Can you see the list there? You can see what's up, kinda,
I can.
kinda.
They're
Um,
filming Miss Marvel. Cool.
yeah. So all of these are supposedly the correct release dates. Which one are you most excited about? Even the to be announced ones.
Uh, oh man,
I know
honestly,
there's so
I am
many.
so excited for Thor. Like so
Okay.
excited for the Thor movie. Gore the God Butcher is just he's gonna blow minds. Like oh man, I'm so excited. I'm gonna have to come down to Colorado just to see that movie with you.
Hey man, that sounds great. That
I
sounds
mean,
wonderful.
Guardians for sure, always fantastic. Like I really like the Guardians movies.
Yeah.
Um, Man, my only annoyance with this list is that they don't tell you like what they are, like as far as movie series, animated series.
Oh yeah.
Because I know some of those are animated series, but I can't remember exactly which ones. I almost want to say Miss Marvel's animated, and I want to say Ironheart's animated.
And I think I Am Groot is also I animated.
That makes sense too.
Um Secret Invasion, though, and maybe I'm just excited about that because I've been reading Secret Invasion, but I think that with all of this
Oh,
happen,
that's a huge team up movie too. Like, yeah, that's a
yeah,
big one right there. Yeah.
I mean, dang man, like with all this stuff happening in WandaVision, I still think that the end of this show is going to set up the entire next phase. Like, and I'll tell you why when we get to WandaVision here in a little bit. But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of things that could happen, and reading the Secret Invasion has been eye opening on a lot of different levels. So,
Yeah, you've been reading a lot. I've been pretty happy about it. You definitely have been picking up quite a few books.
yeah, I mean, I gotta, we do this show, so I have to have some sort of content.
For sure, for sure. It's funny. I look at like other like different videos about the Easter eggs, and they're like, yeah, this issue has this, and I like look on the reading list, and I'm like, Josh just read that issue. That's funny. Made me chuckle. There were like three different issues that were important ones that you like just read, and I was like, okay, he's got some good insight now.
Yeah, a lot of it. Yeah. Did you have any more news at all?
I don't. I don't.
No. Okay. Well, I mean, we could just move this right along then.
What have we been reading?
I need to get that voice changed so it's not just me and me and me all the time. Anyone out
Yeah.
there listening wants to do some cool little overlays for me, I would really appreciate it. But yes, it is time for that part of the episode where we talk about what we've been reading. I talked a little bit about it, so I'll just kind of finish up. I'm still reading the Secret Invasion saga. There's over 200 books in um, that whole storyline, and it's not just the Secret Invasion. I think there's only 8 parts to the actual Secret Invasion storyline, but everything in between that is what makes it a lot of fun. All of the superheroes realizing who's a scroll and who's not a scroll, and like there's this big battle in what is it, the Land of the Lost, I want to call it. It's like we're
Savage Land.
Savage Land. Yes, there's like this huge battle between multiple of the same heroes. There's like 2 Captain Americas and 2 Spider-Man and 2 Wolverines and all this stuff, and like each one of them thinks the other one is a scroll because nobody knows if they're a scroll or not. And so it's just like it gets intense and people get got and people get dead. And yeah, I just read the issue where what was it? I think it was a Captain Britain issue. Captain Britain and Me, volume 13. It's part of the Secret Invasion, but it's like a bunch of different stories. No. It's the one where Captain Britain dies. I'm sorry. And then the other one I was reading was like a culmination of a bunch of different stories. One of them was talking about Marvel, who went and like just joined the Skrulls. He like goes up to the ship and like I don't know. He's like, I wanna join you in your quest for whatever. But yeah, it was again, I've really just been reading Secret Invasion. There's a lot going on in it. So yeah. Jesse says turn up the volume a little bit on Chip. So that just means talk into your mic a little bit more.
Yep.
Just
Word.
just a little bit
Gotcha.
closer. Yeah.
Yep. No problem.
But yeah, and I read I read a couple pages of Spider-Man. But that was about it. They're very wordy. So what new things have you been reading? I'm looking through here and I see some
Nothing new. I'm
stuff.
just finishing up 2013. Really, I'm right at the end of 2013, about to start 2014. Uh, I've been reading the Uncanny X-Men line that started in 2013. Basically, it's the Uncanny X-Men series that started right after Cyclops killed Professor X. Spoilers. Uh,
Oh.
but
Yeah, spoilers. I
yeah.
didn't realize that happened. But I mean, I'm
Oh
sure
man, that
Professor X dies like 6 times, so
yes, several times. It's comics. They all come back. Um, yeah, Cyclops is on the run basically. He's like one of the most wanted dudes around, and him and Magic and Magneto are running around trying to recruit new mutants while being on the run from Shield. Um,
Oh, okay.
Pretty good series. Pretty good series. And then continuing Superior Spider-Man. That is a great run. Definitely worth a read. I just got through the first annual where this this Ghost Rider villain Blackout actually abducts Aunt May, and Doc Ock gets all emotional about it and like takes the oh man, it's bad. Like he brutalizes this villain, and like it's a really interesting issue because like it's Doc Ock going out to save Aunt May, like
Okay.
ostensibly it's Spider-Man saving Aunt May yet again, but like it's Doc Ock doing it this time. Like he's
Like
starting to
Doc Ock
catch
as
feelings.
Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, yeah, but like Doc Ock's starting to catch feelings for like Peter Parker's actual life. And it's like one of the first times
Oh.
that it's almost like him doing something altruistic rather than just selfish.
Sure, sure.
So I'm not sure where they're going to go with that.
Interesting. And is it running? Does this series keep it's still running, or is it
No,
over?
it is over. The one that I'm reading right now is over, but I believe that they have a new Superior Spider-Man that they put out. Um,
Okay. I really
so
just
this
want
one,
to I want to show this cover cuz that cover is sick.
yeah, Darkest Hours. That is where I'm at right now. It's
I really
really
like that.
interesting.
If you're listening to the podcast, check out the live view cuz there's a picture of the really sweet cover. Man, that's cool. That makes me want to read that a lot.
Yeah, Superior
Um
Spider-Man number 22.
huh. All
The
right.
first issue in the Darkest Hour Spider event. And
And
it's
Jesse
basically,
asks, "Is that part of when Peter is in Doc's body?" Yes, or Peter is
yeah,
Doc's
yeah,
body.
Doc is in Peter's body. Peter's dead.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because continuing from last week, you were saying that Doc had like switched consciousness with him, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, so Doc
Peter was
Ock
in
is on
Doc's
his
body.
deathbed. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. God,
Doc Ock's
I'm
on
gonna.
his
I
deathbed and
okay.
gets one of his little bots to like mind swap him and Peter Parker. And
Hmm.
so Peter Parker dies inside Doc Ock's body, and Doc Ock becomes the superior Spider Man. Because he's
Got
just
it. Got it.
better.
All right. Because he's just better.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Um. Let's see. I think that was it, right? Did you have anything else? I don't think I have. I had nothing else that I was really reading. I
Yeah.
played some more Avengers, I guess. I played some of the PS4 game,
Oh, yeah. I,
but
yeah, the new Hawkeye, Clint Barton's coming out on like the 19th, I believe, which
okay,
coincides with Falcon and Winter Soldier dropping.
okay,
So I suppose
that's
that's just
awesome
excuse
because
my mistake.
I do like the um I do like the new storyline with Kate Bishop, and I'm excited to see what else they do with like
Hmm.
more story. Like, obviously with Hawkeye they're going to add more story, and then with whatever other character they make, they're going to add more stuff. So I think the
Spidey
Avengers
eventually.
2, the what now?
Spidey coming in eventually too, like
Oh, yeah, there you go.
for the PS
And
version.
man, I bet when they make a sequel to that game, the sequel is going to be top notch. Like they'll work out all the
Yeah,
bugs and people
I
will
hope so.
have.
Honestly, like I was really there was a PC game. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting the name of it now, of course. But there was a PC game for Marvel that ended right like it got canceled right when like Disney bought up the rights basically. And it was like a top-down Diablo style game, but you were all Marvel characters and you would go through, level up, get gear.
Oh,
And that's really what
Ultimate
I was like
Alliance.
hoping for out of this. Very similar to Ultimate Alliance, but it had a different name. It was a gosh, I can't think of it. It was like a pay to win game. Kind of, it was one of those style. It was like a cheap. It was like a knockoff World of Warcraft, or like yeah, it was like similar to WoW and Diablo, kind of like that. But like
Hmm.
it got canceled. I forget the name of it. It was an Ultimate Alliance, but like yeah, I wanted more of an Ultimate Alliance like Diablo style experience, and like I just was not a huge fan of the PS4 Avengers gameplay.
I thought the gameplay was fine. I thought the story was a lot of fun. But I
The
thought
story was great. I enjoyed that.
the lack of like content, I guess, because once you get to the online mode, it's just the same mission over and over and over and over and over, and you level up and you get experience, but you do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And like, I did it. I played with one of those characters until I got his level maxed out, and I enjoyed it and it was fine, but I'm not going to go through and do it with all six characters. Like, there's no freaking way I'm going to even try that. Like,
7 now.
yeah, like Borderlands, yes, I will play through with all of those characters. I love those games. And it might take a while, but I will still play through with each one of those characters and level them all up. Avengers, not so much. It's just I get people are probably screaming at me, well, Borderlands, if you're doing that, it's the same thing over and over. But it's not really, because yeah, it might be the same game a few times, but like with Avengers, you literally play one mission, you exit after you complete it, and then you go play the same exact mission again. Like it, and it's pretty much what it is. And it just gets it's a little much. So I will probably play it a little bit more with Kay Bishop because she's fun to play with, but I'll wait till Hawkeye comes out till I get young Gamora actress cast as Tiny Tina in Borderlands movie. Man,
That's cool.
I'm yeah, I at least Tiny Tina's gonna be in it, I guess. But
Some games should be made into movies.
I completely agree. I don't know. Anyway, I think that's all I have for what we've been reading.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I've definitely been reading more, but like, it's just those are the
Yeah.
two like craziest ones.
Yep. And that's all I got as well. So we're gonna move on to our man, because this is gonna be a minute. I feel like we're gonna talk about this for a minute. So let's get on to WandaVision episodes 7 and 8. Um, yes, I understand that we're doing 2 episodes at once. That's why we sped through the news and what we've been reading so we can talk about this for a minute, because there's a lot to unpack in these episodes. I do want to say as well that we're devising a plan. So Chip and I were talking before the show about coming back next week for a WandaVision special. Because this upcoming Friday is gonna be the season finale. So we will come back next Monday and do a Marvel Cinematic Monday WandaVision special to finish that up, and then we'll go back to our normal schedule after that. Except we haven't figured it out. I don't know. Let us know. Should we do an episode for every episode? Do a podcast for every episode of Falcon Winter Soldier, or are you guys okay with doing 2 episodes at a time? Because I'm good either way, I think. But I guess we're just trying to test the waters. There's only 6 episodes in Falcon Winter Soldier, so
Yeah, only 6 in that one. Really, we just didn't really want to leave like a week in between the show coming out and us like coming back and reviewing it. So like, really, it's just pragmatism this time. We don't want to make you guys wait for the review.
yeah. So maybe we'll just do a review. We could probably just do that and do a full Marvel show every other week, and I don't know. We'll figure it out. But either way, we're gonna talk the hell about WandaVision episodes 7 and 8. Um, I do want to just go with 7 first, because 7 was kind of the reveal of a lot of stuff, and then 8 was like more reveal of everything else, I feel like. So episode 7 synopsis. WandaVision took a modern turn as episode 7 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe show hit Disney Plus. In the episode titled Breaking the Fourth Wall, Wanda Maximoff expanded Westview's boundaries to save Vision from certain death after he stepped outside the sitcom town. In doing so, she dragged astrophysicist Darcy Lewis and dozens of government agents into her false world. However, Sword Agent Monica Rambeau and FBI guy Jimmy Woo escaped the expansion since they left to meet Monica's mysterious aerospace engineer Fred. So, what oh man, I don't even know oh man. There's a lot going on in this episode. First of all, Wanda's lost it when you first come in.
Yeah,
She's obviously
is,
having a hard time.
yeah, going through a mental break for sure.
Um, I do want to point out that I think I predicted the Office stuff, the
Yeah,
Office Modern
the,
Family
yep,
type episode. Although I'm pretty sure
definitely did.
everyone in the world predicted that, so I can't really take any sort of
Pretty much.
credit because you know. But
Um,
I did like the whole confessional thing, as
mhm.
she's first waking up and talking about, oh, it's probably just a case of the Mondays, am I right? And
Am I right? Um,
yeah.
her bedspread was hexagonal patterned
Yeah.
as well, just another hexagon throwback.
I think we figured out the hexagon mystery though. Wouldn't you say, with the fact that they're in a hexagon and that
Definitely. It's just more imagery that they're doing as a
yeah.
callback. Yeah.
And I guess we haven't talked about episode 8 yet, so we can still talk about the hexes and the hexagons in 7. Yeah, there was a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff in 7. They had like geez, the commercial in episode 7. I know we're skipping a little bit far here, but like the commercial about the Nexus, I feel
Yeah.
like that has to have a lot bigger implications than we would think.
Yeah, in the comics, the nexus point of like the nexus of all realities is I mean it's actually in like the swamps of Florida. It's in the Everglades in the comics.
Okay.
Um and yeah, and it's guarded by like Man Thing, who's like Marvel's version of Swamp Thing. Uh yep. But
All
the
right.
nexus point of all realities, it's like a spot where like the barrier between all the realities is like really thin, so you can do a lot of like reality jumping and a lot of reality
Mm.
warping that's going to hit multiple realities from that point. uh, so it could be hinting that she's going to start changing like different realities, not just Westview and like the normal reality that we're in.
Mm.
um, and that's like a big hint about like the multiverse of madness. Because the Nexus, I mean, you can't really talk about the multiverse without talking about the Nexus.
Okay. Okay. So it could be just a call to Doctor Strange or something.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely a hint about the Nexus becoming important. Um,
Yeah, which
and
is
that's going to
cool.
be about like jumping between different realities. Like like I don't know. She could decide that this reality is just a lost cause and jump over to a new reality where things went her way. Um,
Hmm. I could see that happening. I have a pretty fun theory that we'll get to after this, but it has a lot to do with kind of that. I did like, and knowing what we know now, going back and watching this episode, it's really fun because as who was it? Monica Rambo. Was it her? Yeah, her and Wu were going through the phone and found Operation Cataract. Cataract.
yeah.
And knowing what we know now after watching episode
Yep.
8, spoiler, cataract means a lot more than
Hmm.
than what
And I
we
feel like
thought.
we had talked about it a little bit last episode because we had noticed like that on Darcy's computer screen on the laptop in episode 6, we had noticed that like the file she was looking at said cataract.
Mm.
So like we had actually like talked about cataract being like being what it was, and now it's just so obvious. What a like oh man, what a huge hint they gave us. Slapped us right in the face with it.
Yeah, but I'm proud of us for digging so deep that we actually kind of talked about cataracts being part of vision and what
Yep,
we just
exactly.
didn't we
Like
just
yep.
didn't get the last little detail,
We just
which we'll circle
we
back
were
to,
right
but
there
there was
too. Yep.
just right on the tips of our tongues.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, I loved that, just that whole conversation with Darcy and Vision. I think their scenes were some of my favorites of this entire series. I think honestly, episodes 7 and 8 are my
Hmm.
two favorite episodes out of
I would agree. I would agree.
this whole
Yeah.
series, which is making me super excited for 9 because I'm assuming it's just going to be epic. So yes, but yeah, I
Hmm.
loved the conversations with Darcy and Vision
Yeah.
when,
So Wanda
like,
killed me.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah, but
she
you
had
asked her
to.
to.
Yeah, yeah. Why would I ask her to? Well, that's complicated. But
Save the
then, like,
universe. Well, half of it.
yeah, yeah, she's wonderful. And I think every actor or actress they chose for this show has been perfect, spot on. Jimmy Woo is
Hmm.
great. Monica Rambeau is great. Um, who we're just talking about right now, Darcy is wonderful. You know, Agatha is great. All of these characters that they cast, even what's his name? I'm gonna say it wrong. I'm gonna say Hargraves. What's his real name?
Who? Hargraves. What? Harkness.
Harkness. No,
Agatha.
no, that's Agatha. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
dude, the villain, the
Um. Oh man. Haywood.
Hey,
Hayward. Hayward.
yes,
Hayward.
Hayward. Hayward. I need to write that down because I'm always gonna call him Hargrave for whatever reason.
Hargreaves. He's gonna take a mask off soon.
He's just gonna get an umbrella out, but um, but yes, I love Darcy and Agnes even too in this episode was at the beginning was really cool as well as at the end. You know,
Her. Yeah.
she
She was really funny. Like her confessional. Like, what am I gonna do? Tell those kids that their mom's losing her mind? Like, I don't bite. I did bite a kid once.
yeah, yeah. I did actually bite a kid once, and then taking them. She was, oh man, just even her entrance, you know, where she comes
Hmm.
in, and you can just tell something's up with her. We're gonna learn something about her in this episode, and it's gonna be wonderful. And oh boy, was it! Um, I know we're jumping all around this whole episode, but that's what we do. That's what we do when we review these. That's why we read the synopsis at the beginning. I stole that trick from Jesse, so thank you, Jesse, for showing me that trick. That you read the synopsis for the whole show, and then you can just jump around and play with it. So that's what we're doing. So back to Agnes. From the beginning to the end in this episode, she was wonderful. Anytime you saw
Hmm.
her on screen, she was just perfect. And we get to God, we get to the end of this episode. So first of all, she has her kids. She takes her kids to go, stay with her for a little bit so mommy can get some rest. And man, we skipped over a big part, but we'll come back to it. So Wanda goes over to Agnes's house, and all of a sudden you see, she asks where the kids are, and they're maybe in the basement. So Wanda goes down to the basement, and it's creepy as hell. And at first, I thought she was going into hell. Like I thought she was
You know,
literally walking into hell.
actually, like before we get down to the basement, when I do want to point out when Wanda is sitting at upstairs first, when she's sitting on the couch, she sees like the plates of food with like two half-eaten sandwiches because like the twins were eating the sandwiches, right? But the TV is an actual like I don't know what show, but like it's an actual current show,
Yo
not
Gabba
something
Gabba.
from like Word, not from like not necessarily like just from like her time period. It's a current thing. And then the fly on the wall, I think less being an indication of like something crazy. The fly on the wall was like her first hint that like, wait a minute, I don't like I didn't reality warp insects. Like everything's perfect in her stuff. So like why is there a fly crawling around? So I feel like Agatha's interior of her house is completely unaffected by any of the hex and like that was like real
Well,
TV stuff and like real like
yeah.
bug left over and stuff and I don't
That's
know.
interesting. I didn't even think about the fact that Yo Gabba Gabba is a current, or that thing was a
Mhm.
current show.
And then she
Um,
and the song that they're singing is just jumpy 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 and like right before that it flashed over to the rabbit. Yep,
okay.
just layers.
God, that's good. Good call. Good looking there. That's wonderful. Um, so yeah, then you go down to that basement area,
Hmm.
and this is like, it looks like hell. I feel like, and you look around and you see all the symbols on the wall. It's very mysterious, and you see the book. I'm sure you saw the book, right?
The Darkhold? The glowy book?
Yeah, is
The
that what that
Darkhold?
is? Is
Oh,
that what that is?
absolutely. That is the Darkhold. 100%.
Okay, go on. What's the Darkhold?
So the Darkhold is well like it's I feel like it might be different in the show because like Agatha seems to not be a fan of the chaos magic. That or
Ooh,
she just wants it all
spoiler.
for herself. Whoops. Um, but it's like in the comics, the Darkhold is like a book that this chaos deity, Shathan, like put part of his like being into, and so like at different periods he like possesses people like through the book, and he's like a big Lovecraftian horror type deity. Like he does like all the, uh, it's insane. A lot of like really crazy shit.
Okay, that was my bad. I feel like that book is from Doctor Strange. Like I saw a bunch of stuff online where they're pointing out uh like still shots from Doctor Strange,
Ooh.
and he's missing a book. Have you seen that at all?
No, I actually had not seen that. I hadn't seen that at all. That's interesting.
I'm gonna go find it
I
right now just
instantly
for you.
assumed. Yeah, the Darkhold's like it plays a big part in a lot of like the Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch storylines. So as soon as I saw the glowy book, I instantly assumed it was the Darkhold. Um, I'm sure a lot of people made that assumption, and so like I feel like perhaps that was a misdirect. Then that's
So if you
interesting.
look here, this is Doctor Strange looking at all the books, and there's one missing right here.
Huh. But none of the book. Well, I mean, I guess that doesn't exclude it from being the Darkhold. Like, it could be the
Right.
Darkhold and be that book.
Right,
Um,
because they're not all the same.
yes.
Like these
Yeah,
ones
none
up
of
on the
them are.
top have those, and these ones are kind of different. These ones are a little, I
Yeah.
don't know. They're all
None of them
different
are
books.
glowing though.
Well, no, but maybe you have to start the magic. You have to like, rev the engine to get the magic going.
Maybe. Maybe. Huh.
But I thought that was interesting, especially knowing what we know about the connection between this and Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
That's,
that is an interesting connection to make.
um, but then going back to it, she finally, Agnes finally comes out and she's like, "Oh, it's finally nice to meet you. My name's Agatha," which everybody knew from the very beginning.
Yeah, we've been intermixing those names since episode one. Just
Yeah,
whoops.
but but I just want to talk about, and Jesse asks, "Who was it all along?" And I think we all know who it was all along. Um, but that song that they played was just awesome, brilliant. It was
It was
brilliant.
the it was the best. Yep.
Yeah, and the remakes that people are coming out with is even better. like this guy, and he just gets all into it. And oh man, and there are so many of these remixes online. They're all over the freaking place. But I'm I don't know. I guess I'm just amazed that this one little song on a TV show has started this craze of
Hmm.
like people became obsessed with it, man.
I I've had it stuck in my head this like the whole time.
Right? And
Um,
oh yeah, there was like some fun TikToks going out there with that whole thing. This dude made a freaking like Fallout Boy esque cover. I don't know. It's
oh man.
oh,
Alpha
I
the
think my
prodigy.
personal favorite though, this one has got to be the best. This is just played on a straight organ, and I think that's probably the best one.
It's a good one.
Oh
Um,
man, but you can find all those remixes pretty much on YouTube. Just go look for Agatha All Along remix, and there's hundreds.
and did you notice the aspect ratio changes in that scene?
God, you know,
When when Wanda first like walks down into the basement, it's the wide format for her show. Then when she crosses that stone threshold with like the roots and stuff, her magic gets cut
mm,
off and it the aspect ratio changes to reality. And then when Agatha like snaps and like you see the purple glow around Wanda's eyes,
uh-huh.
when it cuts to the Agatha theme song, the aspect ratio changes. So like she literally like did that for Wanda. Like she played that theme song for Wanda. Wanda saw that exact clip that we saw. And when she
Oh
turns
my
around and I
god.
killed Sparky too. Ah!
Oh
Like
my
she's
god.
literally like yeah, she's like playing that like a clip for Wanda in her head. Like that's why her eyes glow purple and the aspect ratio changes again to like
I
all
never even
reality.
see, and I knew that ratio was gonna have some like huge impact later on in the show, and I'm glad that you found that because that has to be. I would have never even realized that Wanda watched that as well. I thought that was just
Yeah,
something for
Wanda
us.
literally like that was like and that's why at the beginning of the net well, at the beginning of the next episode it takes off from like literally that moment.
From right there, yeah.
And then
And we'll get there.
Agatha's
We'll
like, "Oh, she seems confused." Like
yeah,
cuz she
yeah.
just showed her that. Like
That's
so
so
funny.
okay. So, and we'll get to episode 8. There's still a couple things in episode 7 that we have to cover though because um
Got to mention Monica.
yes, that's right. I'm sorry. That's where I was. That's where I was. She goes in. This is the most disappointing thing, and this is the reason I give this episode a 7 because the most disappointing reveal of the entire show was in episode 7. They've been talking about this aerospace engineer for like 4 episodes now. Monica's going to go find her friend who's an aerospace engineer. And I've been thinking for so long that it was going to be somebody important, somebody that like mattered in the universe. And who knows, maybe I'm being a jerk right now and maybe this person does matter more than I'm giving her credit for. But personally, I think it was a waste because when they, Monica and Jimmy are driving up to this little outpost thing and they meet her friend aerospace engineer, and I don't even have her name written down because there was nothing about her anywhere. Her friend is literally just a throwaway character.
I yeah. Yeah. It was a throwaway line that they knew everybody would like latch onto, or they had no idea that we would all latch onto it so hard, and they're just like sitting back watching, like. But I
There
don't
is
know. I'm also still dubious that that is who she was talking to about, like, because she could have contacted her aerospace engineer friend that's like a higher up in the Air Force, who then sent their other friend. Like
their middle
we
guy.
never got we never got like 100% confirmation that that like Air Force soldier that comes up and greets her is the same like aerospace engineer that she was talking about. But
Okay.
like, but I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of a throwaway thing, and I'm just grasping at straws.
I'm hoping that it wasn't just a throwaway thing. I'm with you on the grasping at straws stuff, but it was probably just a freaking throwaway thing because
I think so too.
I don't know. I don't know. They played me like a fiddle is what they did. But this was a really cool scene nonetheless because you get to see Monica like drive this moon rover. It's a moon rover, I feel like.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
my favorite part of this moon rover scene was they get her all prepared. She gets in there, she revs up the engine, she drives it full speed at the hex to try and break through the hex, right? Um, she doesn't get through, but ends up going up on her side and flipping around. Like the car gets or the moon rover gets sucked halfway into the hex and then spit out, right? So it gets spit out, and the front of the moon rover is an Astro van. I found that to be the most pointless but funny little callback thing to, you know, to the
It's
moon
all.
rover.
I think it's just like it's just another like they're just really good writers. It's just another nod to like the magic being on autopilot.
Yeah.
Because like it's literally just like converting everything to the next closest thing from the appropriate time period. And so it just shifts like so I mean like I don't know, the magic's just like, oh moon rover, Astro Van, perfect. Gooch.
Yeah. Yeah, which is I thought that was really fun. But now after that, Monica just decides, screw it. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it myself. And she just runs face first into this hex. And
Yeah. That was a really interesting scene though. Her like running through all the voiceovers you get.
yeah, I called it the walkthrough scene
Mm.
because you get everything. You get her mom talking, you get Captain Marvel talking, you get Monica talking as a kid, and it's like different time periods of these people talking. So
Mhm.
there was a lot of fun little tidbits in there, I think. Especially considering when she comes out, she's completely transformed
Oh yeah, she's
or
like
mutated, if you will.
mm, yeah, she like sees the I'm still shipping on Spectrum. Like, did you see what she was seeing? She's literally seeing the light spectrum, like when
And
she
that's
comes out of there. Like,
I was actually going to tell you, I kind of agree with you at
I
this point
I did a
that
fist bump when I saw that. I was like, look at that spectrum right there.
I bet you did.
I did. I was like,
But
called it. Oof.
yeah, but it was cool, cuz she comes out and then she runs immediately to Wanda's, right? And and they get in this like fight basically. And Wanda like picks her up and slams her on the ground, but Monica is able to like stop herself from hitting the ground, and you see this little like blue aura around her, which I found to be really cool as well. Because now we've seen so far in the episode we've seen two different types of magic. We've seen blue and red, and then obviously when you see Agatha's at the end, it's purple. So now we've seen three different types of magic: blue, red, and purple. Hold that thought because I want to get more into that for when we talk about episode 8. We're almost done with 7, but I liked how she was able to stop herself from getting her ass kicked, basically.
Yeah, Wanda, li- like I feel like a normal human would have died from what Wanda did there. Like that was a
Getting slammed
full
into
like
the cement.
yeah, that was a full like 20, 25 feet, like real hard. Like I don't. That was full on intent to kill.
Yeah. Well, she was
So.
very upset.
Hmm.
She still thinks at this point she still thinks that Monica Rambeau is the one doing everything until she goes to the basement and then realizes that it's been Agatha all
All
along.
along.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to make some sort of drop out of that because it's just so freaking awesome. Um. So anyway, you see Monica's powers now. She's she can see the spectrum and she can stop herself from falling 20 feet at 70 miles an hour. So she's got some powers. Agatha shows up right then to take Wanda away. That's when they go to her house, is right after their little scuffle. And
I feel like Monica was just about to break through.
yeah,
Just about to get through to Wanda there. Like,
that seems to happen a lot with them.
mhm.
But yeah, then I don't know. That's kind of the last time. That's the last time we see a lot of characters. Is Monica Rambeau. Um,
In the after credits scene of episode 7.
Correct. Okay, so the after credits scene was Monica Rambeau running over to Agatha's house and trying to break down into the basement. She sees like a bunch of vines and like purple. What do you know what that's all about, or is it just a creepy basement with vines?
I think that's just like the creepy basement portion.
Okay,
Unless, I think that's just supposed to give off like the dilapidated castle or dungeon vibe. Um,
okay.
like the vines. Otherwise, part of the Nexus, maybe, because like the Nexus is in the Everglades in Florida. So like maybe she's got a chunk of that Nexus point in her basement. Somehow. I don't
Huh.
really know about like moving the Nexus point, but like who knows?
Well,
Maybe
maybe
that's
it's
why it's
like
all rooty and Everglady.
when maybe if you consider it like a nexus point, maybe it's a way you can travel fast. You know, you're like, oh, here's we can go from this point to this point. It's like in
Hmm.
Harry Potter, you use the boot. What
Well,
are
they
those
could,
things?
and perhaps they're talking about like a Nexus point and not the Nexus of all realities, because those would be different things. You could have Nexus points between different realities, but
That's
like the
true.
Nexus of all realities is just what it says. It's like a mashup of like all the realities touch right there.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna find out. I mean, we're gonna find out a lot in the season finale for sure.
Yeah, the
But it's
season
very
finale is supposed to have the longest runtime of any of the
mhm,
episodes so far, which is going to be
just
over 40 minutes then.
yeah. So yeah, episode 8 was 42 minutes without credits, and so this one's gonna be about 45 minutes without credits, which is fine.
Nice,
But
nice.
yeah, so Monica Rambeau goes to the basement, and then Quicksilver shows up, and what does he say? Snooper's gonna snoop,
Snooper's gonna snoop.
and then that's it. He doesn't like hit her or anything. He just oh no, he I guess she gets controlled by the purple magic, or she like sees her eyes glow purple.
Yeah, her eyes go purple
So
for a moment. Yep.
she's probably under some sort of spell now, but we won't know because episode 8 is not doesn't really have a lot of other characters in it. WandaVision's sitcom formula spiraled into beautiful chaos as episode 8 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe show landed on Disney Plus. Okay, so it turns out the witch Agatha Harkness was behind pretty much all the weirdness so far, and she's got Wanda trapped in her ludicrously creepy basement. Outside the house, newly superpowered sword agent Monica Rambeau was confronted by Pietro, who's seemingly under Agatha's control. And astrophysicist Darcy filled in Wanda's husband, Vision. So that was basically just a recap of episode 7 because episode 8 is just um a recap of Wanda's life.
Hmm.
Like you basically just go through her whole life and all of her tragedies and traumas and stuff.
Yeah. Uh, like one or two things that like became apparent to me on like my viewing of episode 7 that occurred after I watched episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
So like with context, so in episode 7 it seems like Vision keeps getting like stopped from getting home, and
Mm.
he's like saying, Wanda doesn't want me home. Wanda keeps creating all these distractions for me. Wanda's at home thinking that Vision doesn't want to be
Doesn't
home
want to be
and
there.
is butthurt at her. So it's Agatha all along. Agatha's the one creating all of those distractions that are stopping Vision, as proven by the fact that during her theme song, she's the director of the reality show, and she's like sitting there interviewing him at one point. What am I
Yeah,
doing here? So it really
yeah.
was Agatha all along.
And then I mean, and she's such a crazy player about it too because she was in her car when Vision caught up to her,
Yeah, she
and
like her little like so funny.
yeah, I don't know. It's it's weird to think. I don't know, like because she must have just sensed the hex and went for it.
Hmm.
Because if you notice in episode 7 as well, her license plates are from Connecticut, not New Jersey.
Ooh, good look.
So she's from Connecticut,
Connecticut,
which
not
is
Massachusetts.
yeah, it's Connecticut. But I think the Salem trials were in Connecticut, not Massachusetts, weren't they? Weren't the trials held in Connecticut?
Oh, I don't know, but
But
like the
episode 8
Salem
starts out
nonsense.
in Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Episode 8 starts out in 1693
Mhm. And the Marvel logo shifts from the classic red to like Agatha
to
purple.
purple. Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
That's why we were trying to have things purple earlier, but apparently it didn't work very well. So, um, yeah, and I found that very interesting. Agatha's what 300 years old. She looks great for her age.
Yeah, and I feel like in a roundabout way, we knew from episode 1 that it was Agatha because I feel like we definitely said Catherine Hahn is just stealing the show, and we just didn't realize how right we were.
Yeah, and she continues to steal the show in all of episode 8.
Yeah.
She's slowly becoming my favorite part of the show. Like I don't want her to die at the end of the series. I want her to come back and be a part of the MCU. Because she is part of comics. There was, she was a big part of Fantastic Four and stuff as far as I know. So she really could stick around and like you can find out that Agatha's working for whatever other big bad, pick one, I don't care, but like you can find out she's working for somebody and she's under some spell, or if she doesn't do this task, she's gonna, if she doesn't get two souls to bring Mephisto back, then she's gonna
Yeah.
die or something. But just to keep her around, because I would much rather see Catherine Hahn hang around in the MCU than just be a one-off. Like
Yes.
like I really liked Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio, but he probably won't be back. So that sucks.
Yeah, I would love to see some more Killmonger, but
Yeah, and he's definitely not coming back because that dude's playing Blade now, isn't he?
Michael B. Jordan? I don't
No, I'm
think so.
sorry. I'm sorry. I messed that up. Someone. It's Cottonmouth from. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah,
My bad.
yeah. Different guy.
I knew that there was a villain from somewhere playing another villain or another
Hmm.
person, but um, yeah. I hope they keep her around. That's all. That's all I'm saying. And
I agree. She is a tremendous actress. She's really, really good.
yeah. And back to Salem, 1693. This witch is old.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow. And it's like the actual witch trials at the beginning of episode 8, but it's like witches holding a trial for another witch.
Right.
So
Because she's been dabbling in that deep, dark magic.
so she was dabbling in some dark magic is what it is. Is that what the purple is? Because even those witches had blue power, like blue
Hmm.
magic.
Well, when they shoot her with the blue, she glows red on the like she's glowing red internally, and then red
Hmm.
and blue make purple. But like, so I don't know. I almost feel like like, I don't
She's
know,
like a hybrid. She made a hybrid of red and blue magic.
like Chthon's magic is often associated with like a red color effect. And so like if that is if the book is the Darkhold and she was reading that and getting like chthonic knowledge that would be like ancient and more powerful than she could handle, the power signature for it would be red. And then if she absorbed all the power from those other witches and it was blue, I mean, hypothetically, it would change her power source to her power signature to purple then?
Hmm.
Because, like, she definitely absorbs their life
Yeah.
force. So maybe
Oh
she
yeah.
steals all their power too.
That could be, and that's what I was thinking. Is she stealing their life force or stealing their power? I was trying to figure that out, or maybe it's a mix of both.
I think both, because, like, I think she was getting stronger as they were blasting her. I think that's part of, like, the red glow that she had. Like, she was,
Well,
like, getting stronger and, like,
and she
absorbing their power.
and she played it off so well too, because
Mm.
she's all screaming, and then all of a sudden she's like, "Oh yeah, wait, no, I'm good." It was like she did like a weird flex, like she
Mm.
started using this magic, and that's when she started turning red on the inside, and then that's when the purple started coming out. So once the purple part of Agatha reached the other witches, it started like turning them, aging them super fast, and like sucking life force out of them.
Yeah, they started withering down.
Yeah, and then her mother starts shooting the blue magic at her, and she does the same thing.
And her mother was some sort of like her mother was the head of the coven, but
Coven,
like her
yeah.
mother also had some sort of like unique power because when she was blasting, she actually like formed a luminescent crown like as she was channeling
Oh,
all of her power. None of the other ones had that. So like I don't know if that's just like I don't know if you would get like I don't know if your power would start developing a luminescent crown just because you're the head of the coven. Like I feel like that like I don't know. I feel like you'd have to have access to a different power set
sure.
for that. So I don't know.
I'm trying to think if there's any other characters that have some sort of crown like that. Did you notice any resemblance between Agatha's mom and anything else? Or any other
No, not
character?
really. The only like other really significant thing from that scene is that the pendant that Agatha always wears, she like took off of her mom.
She took the pendant, yeah.
Yeah. And that pendant's apparently Hecate, who's like a goddess of magic.
Interesting. So apparently the if you look close enough, because I got a picture up here right now too, I guess there's some sort of connection between the Scarlet Witch and the crown. So like the crown kind of looks like the original Scarlet Witch headdress thing.
Mm, eh, maybe. I don't know. I feel like that's a stretch in my mind. Like the Scarlet Witch's headdress is like two. If you're thinking of it as a crown, it's 2 points, almost like devil's horns.
Okay.
But like that one was definitely like blue and had multiple like tines.
Huh. They're saying so Evanora Harkness is her name, and she's not a direct character from the comics, but um sorry, I'm just trying to figure this out. They're saying, I guess these guys are predicting that Evanora shares similarities with Zerid Na, a sorceress from Atlantis, known for practicing white magic. Her physical appearance in the comics is strikingly similar to Evanora's look in WandaVision.
Okay.
And if you see that picture, I guess it's kind of true with that weird little crown thing. Kinda. And then if you scroll all the way up here, you kind of
Kinda.
see that there.
Yeah, I see it.
I don't know. It's a stretch for sure. It's a
Yeah,
stretch,
it's a
but
stretch again, but like I see that one more than I see like the Scarlet Witches.
yeah.
Hmm.
I wonder. I wonder if they will have a connection there at all, or if they're just gonna kind of be like, meh.
I don't I don't
Maybe
see
they'll
the
have a
point of
connection
it. It
with
was a
her and the
throw like
Eternals.
I feel like I thought I thought I had seen that Evanora Harkness was like canonically Agatha's mother in the comics, but like she wasn't she was mentioned. She was never like shown. She's a
Oh,
throwaway
okay.
character.
Okay.
So
Maybe I
I
don't
don't
know.
see the
Maybe that's
point
what
of
it is.
connecting
But
her to anything. Like she
yeah,
served her purpose. She shows that her daughter's a bad bitch for all of us.
yeah, that's true. She sacrificed herself for the good of the show, which
Yeah.
okay. Um, but I do want to point out that they did use blue power, which in episode 7, Monica used a blue sort of power. So maybe she's not Spectrum or Photon or whatever. Maybe she's just a witch now. Maybe she just got witch powers.
No. She's Spectrum. Okay? Spectrum. Uh no, I don't think she's a witch. I think it's just coincidence that the colors are
The
both
same,
blue.
yeah.
They're different shades. Like and they
Oh,
had
okay.
distinctly different like looks.
Okay.
Like theirs was more of like a shadowy, gassy blue, like they're shooting a gaseous blue beam at you. And hers was more like a direct, like, I'll say it, photonic effect. It had more of a photonic effect when she landed. Like it was like one blue pulse that like pulsed out rather
Okay.
than being like the gaseous beam that they were shooting.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. And they were also like humming some Latin and stuff. So all right, all right.
Oh, for sure. When they're shooting at her, the Latin translation is "death to the monster of nature."
Nice. Good. Good. Good call there. Nice. Good pull.
Mm-hmm.
um so then after you see that, so obviously Agatha kills the entire coven, and then you flash forward back to the basement, which is exactly where we left off, which I do want to point that out because a lot happens obviously in this little bit of time. But right before you hit the basement in episode 7, um Hargraves says to all of his little minions, he's like, prepare for launch. And then that's all you see of the sword operatives.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, prepare for launch. You go down to the basement. Now we're back in the basement in episode 8, where Agatha explains, you're in this, we're in your hex, but right now in this basement, you're in my hex. Don't you know that? Aren't you a witch? Like, don't you see these runes around here? It means that only I
Agatha's
can use my magic.
Yeah, Agatha's like almost she's like almost annoyed and confused at the fact that Wanda has no idea about any of this witchery. Like she
Yeah.
can't recognize runes. She has no idea what a protection spell is. And like Agatha's just like, "What? Like how are you this strong? Like what?
Yeah. Yep.
Why?"
Yeah, and she goes on this really fun little tirade, which I loved how she was like, "Oh, you almost spilled the beans on how you did this to fake Pietro, or Fietro as I like to call him."
Pietro. Yeah.
So that right there, did she just imagine up this dude? She just imagined this character.
She said it was a crystalline construct. Or no, a crystalline possession. So like I don't know if that means
Okay.
that she just like conjured up like a crystal golem basically and made it look like Pietro, or if like it's some sort of thing possessing an actual person and she has it looking like Pietro. Um, but
Yeah, I wonder.
I don't know. I saw
I think
and I
it's got
saw
to
a
be some
theory
sort
that
of
maybe
fun.
like she
Sorry.
oh I saw a theory that maybe she actually like pulled that version of Pietro from a different reality, like, and it is actually the other Pietro, but she has him mind wiped. But
Hmm.
I don't know if I ship for that theory. I feel like she is spilling all of her beans right now, so like I feel like she has no reason to lie about. Yeah, that's not really him. Meh. Like, I don't know.
Right.
I feel like it was more just a nice little nod to the fans rather than like a big game breaking thing that they were trying to do.
And that has to be it. That's what I was gonna say. Is that they just kind of did that for fun, and I think they knew they were gonna break things when they did it. Like they had to have known that they were gonna break the internet. They're like, we're gonna bring the Quicksilver in from the X-Men universe in the midst of all this multiverse talk
Oh,
and X-Men talk, and we're gonna throw him in there just to watch the Marvel fan nerds squirm a little bit.
yeah.
Like
Pepper
I
needs
would
new
see that.
shorts.
Yeah, I would see that way more than you know. I don't know than them trying to do something fun with it. But anyway, so then after that, we get a little bit of a Thor callback because Agatha's like, I need to figure out how the fuck you're doing all this. So she pulls out one of Wanda's hairs and does another little spell, and you start going back into Wanda's past, which
Memento
was
mori, which is Latin for memory. Oh gosh, memory recalled, memory returned. One of those two.
oh, okay. So yeah, it's like it's a memory spell that's also kind of like the oh my god, what was it called in Harry Potter? I keep making Harry Potter references, which makes sense because it is witchcraft and wizardry.
The where they pull the
The
silver thread out.
pensieve, the
Yeah, there it
pensieve.
is.
They kept
Yeah,
putting
there it is.
the hairs and the memories in the pensieve, and that's kind of what Agatha does here. She pulls out the hair and then throws it across the room into the door pensieve, which has more runes on it, by the way.
Hmm.
Has a bunch more like witchy runes. But what did you think of this first scene when they go back to her childhood? What were your like thoughts on that whole thing?
No, it was a really good scene. It really tells us a lot about like what we saw in the first couple episodes. Like it really establishes why she's obsessed with the sitcoms. Um, the Walnut episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show. Do you know about this?
I've read about this, yes, but
So
please.
it's super interesting that the Walnut episode is the episode she likes, because it's all about like altered realities and like aliens coming down and like he loses his thumbs and it it's just really interesting that it deals with like aliens and altered realities,
And one of the
given the
walnuts
context of the
breaks
shows.
open it's like a diamond in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the end of the episode, the walnut breaks open and there's like a diamond inside.
Mm-hmm. I think.
Infinity Stone.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh. Yeah, huh? Yeah, so I
Yeah, I
mean,
did. I
like,
did read
so
about
it's
that.
just
That
really
was
interesting
interesting.
that like that's the episode they chose to go with. It's also interesting that she says like season 2, episode 21, and that's not that episode. So like they purposely gave us the wrong episode number when they said the
Oh,
walnut episode. So I don't know what like I don't know. I don't
it
know
was
what it means,
sneaky,
but that's interesting.
sneaky. Yeah, sneaky writers. That's for
Hmm.
sure.
And then basically every show in his box is like one of the shows that we had a callback to in earlier episodes.
Okay.
Like the Dick Van Dyke
Yeah,
Show,
that's true. Malcolm in the Middle. Uh,
all of those.
Brady Bunch was in there, and Modern Family was even in there too. I think, which I'm pretty sure it was because I remember thinking like, or maybe it was The Office or something. But I was like, how old is Wanda? I don't even know. But there were no. It was Malcolm in the Middle. I'm sorry. I was thinking how old is Wanda when they were watching Malcolm in the Middle because I was in what 2000 I think, maybe later 90s.
Yeah.
So she would have been. She looks like she's about 8 there, and so
Hmm.
yeah, I guess we're in 2020 21. So it all adds up. But I really liked the you got to see the Stark scene that she talked about in Age of Ultron when she's like, we waited for Tony Stark to kill us for 2 days, and And you got to see them like kind of hang out with the missile. And
Yeah, and she like,
I loved Agatha's whole, oh, so you put a protective spell around you. That's really cool. And Wanda's like, what? And she's like, can't you tell you were already a witch? Like let's move on from there. And so then they go to like the next scene of her life, which is her at Hydra,
yeah,
which
in the Hydra
this part,
facility.
yeah, I really, really liked this scene a lot. It
Mhm.
really like it kind of shows you that the Infinity Stones are here to stay and they're never going away from this universe or these movies or these shows because wow. Like they put her in the room with the Infinity Stone and it kind of gives her her power, I would say, right?
They, I mean, they had said that anybody that touched it had died. And one would assume that they were already collecting like powered individuals. So
Sure.
like I would assume that it was multiple powered individuals that like died from touching it, and like it just reacts to her walking in. So like she's got some sort of an innate affinity to that stone.
So did you see what so the stone like you said it breaks out and it like looks at Wanda and floats towards her and it breaks the casing from Loki's scepter and
Mm.
the stone actually looks at Wanda and then this image pops out and that is very much Scarlet Witch
Oh yeah,
there.
very yeah, definitely like the iconic comic book costume,
Do
like
you
for
think
sure.
that maybe the spirit of Scarlet Witch was in the stone and went inside Wanda, giving her all of her powers and stuff?
Possibly, possibly. Wanda and the Scarlet Witch are two different entities.
Yeah,
It's possible.
because they did finally drop it. They finally said it at the end of this episode. Agatha finally says, "You're the Scarlet Witch." And I whooped a little bit in the house. I was like, "Oh, whoa!"
Yeah.
Like
She said that yeah, she said that she thought that she was only a legend. And so it makes it seem like more like a title or like
hmm,
I don't know. It's interesting. They've there was like one Scarlet Witch series from like I want to say 2015, 2013. It was like a Scarlet Witch limited series, and they alluded to the fact that her mother was also known as a Scarlet Witch. Um, and that's like the only time that they've ever like referred to it as more of like a title or some power set that gets passed along rather than just
hmm,
being like the name she chose for herself. So it's
right.
really interesting that they're going that it seems like they're going that kind of direction where it's more like a power set that gets passed or maybe it's just like a prophecy like this one will come along and they'll call her the Scarlet Witch, but like I don't know, it's weird.
And I think they're trying to make it a little more realistic than prophecy stuff. Like not that comic books are realistic and that witches and sorcery is like realistic, but I mean, I could see it more being like a soul transfer or a mind transfer from the Mind Stone, because it seems like the Scarlet Witch opens up Wanda's mind and gives her ability to control the powers really easily. Because as Agatha was saying, she had powers already by stopping that bomb from going off, but she didn't realize how to use her powers until she gets confronted by the Mind Stone, and then all of a sudden she's able to like juggle blocks with her mind and do all that stuff. So it is very interesting, especially because I guess we'll have to loop back around to this because I think that there's a little bit more to it than that. I think that whoever was giving the powers had a little bit more of a plan for Scarlet Witch. You know what I mean? Like whoever's in the Mind Stone chose Wanda for a reason, knew that, she would be good. And that's why she picked her. She's a good witch and gave her the power of the Scarlet Witch or whatever it is. Um, but moving on from there, you go to the scene at the Avengers compound with Vision. So now we've seen Wanda and her brother go through the crazy trauma of I loved Agatha's line there. All I see here is trauma and years of therapy. But let's move on. So you see that trauma, then you see the Hydra trauma, and now you're seeing like the more of the when Wanda kind of fell in love with Vision, I feel like, when she realized that Vision was more than just a machine. Hello,
Mm-hmm.
Splash. Thanks for joining. Um, and I did like that scene a lot too. I really liked what Vision said there. His line where um talking about death and like what is love if not
What is
what is he?
grief if not the
Grief.
perseverance of love?
Yes, there it is. There it is. Yeah, and remembering that, and I just loved that line a lot, and they kind of gave Vision the spotlight there, and Paul Bettany really showed off his acting chops because he had to go back to being young, naive Vision, but still having something important to say, and he did it really, really well. So, um, and that scene's kind of it is what it is. They watch Malcolm in the Middle, and
Hmm.
they hang out together,
She
but going
explains
from
the sitcom to him slightly. Like, it's funny because
yeah,
he's hurt. Oh no, he's not really hurt. It's not that kind of show.
yeah, yeah. Um, and then you go on from there to the sword I keep wanting to say sword, the sword agency. But you go to sword
Yes.
and Wanda's trying to get in there, right? And if you remember last time we heard from about this scene, we heard that Wanda broke into sword and stole the Vision's body. So now we're seeing it all play out the right way, and Wanda actually gets let in to the building. Well, they did let her in. Although she busted the door, they did give her permission to go in there. So whatever, she wanted to show off. But but she goes in there and it's like
Could you imagine how
ah,
terrifying it would be to be the security guard to have to tell Wanda, like, nah, sorry, baby, you can't see your dead boyfriend's body today.
yeah,
You got to
yeah,
go. Like, oh
yeah.
my god, dude. That would be so scary.
I don't think I'd be able to. I'd be like, listen, boss, I'm letting her in, and you can deal with this because I don't get paid enough to deal with Wanda here. I'm sorry, but I like how she goes directly to gosh
Hayward.
Hargrave Hayward. Jeez, thank you. I'm never gonna remember. Hayward. He goes to Hayward. She goes to Hayward's office, and they talk about the Vision's body. And she's like, "Where is it?" This must be it right after she comes back from being dusted and saving the universe and stuff. It's got to be right after that, because she tries to go get his body, and after a ridiculous conversation, I really don't like Hayward now. I think he's going to be a little bit more of the big villain than anything.
He was really, really pushing buttons. I feel like he was definitely like he was hoping she was gonna resurrect the vision for him. Like
Yes.
he's the one that put it in her head. Like, well, not everybody has the power to bring their loved one back to life or back online. Like,
I mean, do you think she was really trying to do that though? Do you think she was really trying to bring Vision back? Because to me,
no,
it
I don't
seemed
think
like
that
she
had
was
occurred to her. She was like, no, I can't do that. What are you talking about? She just wanted to bury him. She wanted to give him a proper burial and
right.
grieve.
I feel like this whole show is all about how naive Wanda is, about how she has no idea who she is. This is a
Hmm.
coming of age, figuring out what she can actually do kind of story, which is fine with me. I like it. That's great. But yeah, so she looks down and all of us she's like, "Why are you showing me this?" And he's like, "Well, you wanted to see it." and then she realizes they're taking apart Vision's body, and what did he say? He's trying to take apart the most uh sophisticated sentient weapon ever made, or something like that.
Yep.
And
Yep. And
I
then
don't
he
know.
invokes the Sokovia Accords, which is just him like jabbing another button because she's one of the biggest reasons why that happened was when she like
Yeah.
saved Cap and blew up that
Yep.
building.
Yep. And so obviously he pushes enough buttons to make her break that glass, which is now you saw that scene from the video when he's Hayward's like, "Oh yeah, Wanda broke in and stole the Vision's body." When in actuality, she doesn't steal his body. She just tries to feel him like she did, in Avengers, where they're like, "Oh, I just feel you," blah blah blah. Really sweet little scene, and really sad as well. But she leaves him there. She just leaves. Which immediately, when I'm watching this episode, I'm like, wait a minute, didn't she steal that? What happened here? And so then she drives her car, which you see a little. Also, Kylie brought this up earlier, and we forgot to do that segment. We'll have to do that segment next time. But Kylie brought this up about the she drives, so she could fly anywhere, but Wanda decides to drive. Um,
Yeah.
so she's driving her car. She's got the little envelope in the passenger seat, and
She
gets
drives a red Buick, and she drives a period appropriate red Buick the whole series.
interesting.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, she pops into Westview, and you find out that the little envelope in the car that she's with, or that she has, is a deed to a house in Westview, New Jersey. When she goes to this house is when she loses her shit. She, like, it seems like everything just hits her at once, and she just breaks down. Breaks. She breaks.
Yeah, she
And
goes to the
like,
yeah, it's the deed to the like plot of
yeah.
land that her and Vision bought. Like they were gonna like build a house there and live. And she gets there and it's all like destroyed and dismantled, just like her life and just like Vision.
Yeah, was it destroyed or just unfinished? I thought it was just
It's just
unfinished.
it's just not it's just like
Okay, just a
the
plot of
bones
land.
of a
Yeah,
house. Yeah, yeah. It
yeah,
had like the foundation, but not any sort of structure.
man. And so she loses it, and that's when you find out she's the one. She made the whole, like, she put everything in the hex. She did this spell, but she still has no idea how. Like, she's no idea. Um, God, which is crazy. Which is crazy
Yeah,
because
she
what she
creates the house and then she just like bursts
it
out and hits the whole town.
it expands out to the whole town, which again, we're about there. Um, anyway, so she's seen all this now. She goes out to the street because she hears her kids screaming. Agatha's like, "This is chaos magic. You're the Scarlet Witch." Now, we very briefly touched on chaos magic a little bit ago, but tell me a little bit more about what that actually is.
Uh, well, chaos magic, like Chthon, the that elder deity that I mentioned, him
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like he bound himself partially like into the Darkhold, and like he basically like put chaos magic like on the earth. He like put it out there. Uh,
Okay.
in the comics, I want to say the more that chaos magic is like used, the more like powerful he potentially like becomes.
Well,
Um,
okay. So here I got it on fandom.com, the Marvel wiki.
mhm.
Chaos magic is the name of a magic so powerful that it was thought to be non-existent by even the modern sorcerer supreme himself. This magic can manipulate, warp, and reconstruct the very fabric of existence and reality to the user's very whims, and bring about total destruction to the cosmos.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Right. Um. So I'm. We've covered this whole thing. Was there anything else that you wanted to say about episodes 7 and 8 before we get on to our final little predictions about and the after
Well,
credits? But
yeah, well, like as part of her creating the house, she creates the house and then she like bursts it out and the whole town's affected by the hex. And then she like creates an artificial vision.
Oh yes, how
So
could I
like
forget that? How
that
could I
answer
forget
is
that?
fine. Yeah, that answer is finally like given to us. Like that's why when he left the hex, he started getting pulled back in because it was trying to pull the magic back in. Um,
Because he is part of the magic. Because he is
That's why
made
he
by
can't
magic.
remember anything. That's why during episode 7, during like the confessional, he says like, "To me, it seems like it happened to a completely different person, but to Wanda,
Right.
it was weeks ago." Is because it was a completely different person. He literally doesn't have any sort of memories because he didn't exist. He's
Right.
like a whole construct. Um, but what like because he's a full-on construct and she like straight warps reality, does that mean that the Mind Stone is back? Because like he's got the Mind Stone in his head, and if she's like capable of spontaneous creation, then did she like just spontaneously recreate the Mind Stone?
Well, I think it's more she created more of a soul, right? So if we go to the after credits, we see MF White Vision. What? What they're powering up is White Vision. So as you said, we did see Wanda create the vision that we know, the colorful vision, and then the after
Mm-hmm.
credits scene is Hayward. I got it right, yes, but Hayward is powering up White Vision,
Yeah.
and that's a huge deal in the comics. I believe. What was it? He was Vision was white until Marvel transferred his consciousness into the Vision, and then he got color. Is that correct, or am I mistaken there?
I want to say I thought it was Wonder Man.
No, Wonder Man. Yes, that's what it
Yeah.
was. Okay, I'm sorry.
And
But did
then
he get?
when he gets reassembled and he doesn't have his consciousness in there, he's like just the Jarvis AI, not mixed with Wonder Man. Wonder Man's got like a hard on for Wanda, and so he refuses to like give his brain patterns to the new Vision. And so this white Vision is like a lot colder and more
Hmm.
like more machine.
Hmm.
And like and so it causes a rift between him and Vision and between him and Wanda because like he's not the same person.
Right. Which, in my like, what I think is gonna happen. Wanda created this vision, this soul of vision. Like she created this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say after the big battle in this next episode, she doesn't just push that soul into the white vision and combine the two because then vision could live outside the hex. She'd basically
That's I mean that's one way that it could go for sure. That's not a bad it's not a bad prediction.
I mean if you're looking at it in a comic book perspective as well, you got like you said Wonder Man gets his soul put in there. So obviously Wonder Man is not in the MCU at the moment,
Right.
but
No, that's a good I mean that's a good way to do it and permanently bring Vision back.
and you could do it without the soul stone too, cuz to your point, like yeah, she did make that in the hex, but if she were to put that soul back into White Vision, then he wouldn't, it would just be like the ghost part of that, of the colored vision that's going into the White Vision to take over that AI. It wouldn't be that whole body taking over. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the stone would essentially disappear,
Because
and
it's
he would
just
just
fabricated portion of him as a total. I feel
right.
you. Hmm. It makes sense.
So I mean, I guess it's possible that she could have created a new soul stone, and if it is possible, does that mean that there are creatures powerful enough to just recreate Infinity Stones?
I mean, in theory,
So circles back around to Infinity Stones are never going away.
I feel like I don't know. I part of me doesn't think that the White Vision's gonna like go into the hex at all. Um, I feel like he's just gonna fly away and be a villain in a later movie. Because he reactivated him without the Like they reactivated him without the Mind Stone and the Jarvis AI, so he's literally just a shell of a body with Ultron code inside of his head. So I
Oh,
think they
snap.
so I think they just kicked Ultron back online and he's just going to dip. Like I think he's going to blow up the base and just dip. Like
How fucking funny would that be?
I mean the whole point of Age of Ultron was that he like the whole point of Age of Ultron was that he like built the Vision to be his future body. Like you're going to house my consciousness someday. He literally told us.
Oh my god, how funny would that be if they brought Ultron back into this?
I mean, they can bring him back and like he just flies off and becomes a villain for another day. Maybe the Armor Wars makes more sense when Ultron's the one.
Right. Cat, I'm gonna need you
Who
to.
knows? I don't think that that's like very likely, but like that's like one thing that could happen.
I mean, that would be awesome. I would be totally cool with that. I'd be way down. I also one of my other predictions. I think since a lot of people are saying this is pulling from the House of M storyline,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, which it kind of is, I guess, in a way. Um, but I think they're gonna do the opposite of the M storyline. And instead of taking mutants away, I think Wanda's going to create the mutants. I think that she's already started by creating Spectrum because Monica Rambeau is now technically a mutant, correct? Because she's got mutation and she has powers.
Um, like it depends on what your definition of mutant is. Like, do she have an X gene? Like, I mean, there's all sorts of like altered
so
people. Like Bruce Banner's not a mutant. His DNA is altered. He's a mutant, but
so
like,
what if this is a thing? So and what I'm saying is Wanda right now she's pushed out the hex like a lot. She
mhm.
pushed it out of the house. When she rebuilt the house, she pushed the hex out a little bit to cover the town. Now she's pushed it out even further to cover up those bases and stuff. So who's to say she can't just push it out to cover the entire world?
No, that's true. Um, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think maybe Monica's not the direction to look though. I think Monica like she
Well,
got her DNA altered and she acquired a power set, possibly because of her close relation to Carol Danvers and being around that energy. So she like
okay.
took some of it when they altered. But I think she could create mutants by like making her children real. Because if
Oh,
Vision is just 100% a construct, but a physical construct, then like those kids she pushed out, like yeah, she pushed out kids, but those kids are
but she
just
still made
crystalline
them.
constructs. I'm saying crystalline now too, but like those are just constructs too, essentially. So then
Mm-hmm.
maybe to make them real, as a side effect of her making them real because they have like mutant powers, she then hits the whole world and gives mutant powers to people. So I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just feel like Monica just acquired a power set. I don't think she's going to have
Okay.
like mutation. Like
I guess I could see that. I think it would be one way that they could explain. Maybe Monica did have the X gene,
and
and
possibly and maybe she
WandaVision
had a latent
awakened
X
it.
gene and that's true too. That is definitely something they could easily explain in.
Like it's been a dormant gene for
Mm-hmm.
however long, and
for
heck,
for
honestly,
however long, for however many people.
well, and
Maybe
they could
Wanda's the
explain that.
catalyst.
Yeah, they could explain that with like the Eternals. They
Mm-hmm.
suppressed the mutant gene, but the Scarlet Witch, who they put in the Soul Stone, was able to find someone to
Maybe that's
release that
actually
mutant gene again.
that actually could very well be. That's a good way to like bring it all back. It's
I
a
don't know, man.
tremendous theory.
We better write that down because if I'm right on that shit, I'm gonna
You better
fucking
TM it.
blow up Marvel. um. Well,
Well,
we're
yeah, we could still. I mean, we could still do our fun little segment. Nothing says we can't do it after. Now that we're
that's true.
finished with the review.
That's true, and we should still do that fun little segment.
Yeah, it's
Did we
just
have anything else that we wanted to talk about with WandaVision? We've gotten predictions. We've broken down the whole show or both episodes.
I
We
heard that the final fight scene, like the big fight scene in the season finale, is gonna have more CGI than Endgame. So take that how you will. This is gonna be a crazy episode. Expensive, man. I can't believe how much money they're throwing at it. More CGI. That's from like one of the. I think Paul Bettany said that. More CGI than Endgame.
I think that just gives me more like confidence that this is going to be like the beginning of something huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the prequel, what happens before, you know, the shit hits the fan or something. Like I don't know. I like
I'm
that.
ex- I'm excited to see how it goes down. My
Yeah.
predictions are pretty unlikely, but they're more hopes than predictions. I
Sure,
feel like you're
sure.
more on point with like probably what will happen. I think your predictions are pretty
I,
sound.
I like to spoil things for myself and others. So, thanks for watching the show, guys. um but all right, cool. I
So
think
yeah, we have a fun little segment tonight. We had a question from a viewer, Kylie
question
from the
from Kylie from the Sudden But
yeah,
Inevitable rewatch. Yeah.
Kylie from our yeah, exactly, from the Sudden But Inevitable podcast. She asked us who is the most emotionally stable superhero, because we've been talking a lot about emotionally unstable ones. So emotionally stable, I think like not Spider-Man because he's got some, you know, daddy issues. Um, gosh, stable. It's really hard.
I, yeah,
I'd
and
say Miss Marvel, maybe. Kamala Khan. She's pretty emotionally stable. She's
okay.
got a good home life.
We were saying Captain America
Mm,
because even though he's gone through a lot of stuff, he still does good. He's still a good guy.
it's true.
He can do this all day.
It's true. That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
But then,
Emotionally stable.
because like, what does emotionally stable mean? Like, does that mean like, say for instance, Batman, right?
No.
He just could snap at any instant and just kill everything. He is
Yeah.
definitely not emotionally stable. Like we're thinking,
No.
what about Superman? Could Superman? Now I know we're getting into DC realm.
No. We actually saw that if Joker kills Lois Lane, Superman
Oh yeah,
snaps.
that's
So
right. That's right. And that Joker always pushing buttons and shit.
he always gets the last laugh.
Oh man. What about Captain Marvel? What about Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel?
um.
Did she ever do anything
Nah,
on
I
a
think she's
whim?
got. Yeah. She's got some anger issues.
Okay. Obviously, we
Hulk
know
has some
that
anger
Ant-Man has
issues.
some problems.
Yep.
Uh,
Ant Man.
Iron
Iron
Man
Man's
has
an
a drinking
alcoholic.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Thor? Do you think he'd be emotionally stable?
He's a bit of a narcissist. So I mean, I guess that's not really being
But like,
emotionally
even though you're a
unstable, but
narcissist,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess he's pretty stable with it. No, he's not emotionally stable. Nick Fury whispers something in his ear and he becomes unworthy of holding his hammer.
Oh,
He's a little bitch.
that's crazy. Oh, and in the movies, he also does have a quite the emotional breakdown.
Yeah.
So,
Nick Fury's like, I banged your mom.
oh my god,
And Thor's like, no.
he's like, I must murder you. Oh my god. So I think we're still leaning towards Captain America because he
Captain
hasn't
America's a
really
good answer. I think Kamala Khan's a good answer too. I'd say both of
Kamala
those are
Khan.
pretty good answers.
And yeah, from what little I know about Kamala Khan, um, I would say you're probably right because just the Avengers game that I played, she was always the voice of reason with everything.
Yeah, they've made her a real like she is a really cool character. They've put her in quite a few like series on her own and like in teams. She's a really cool character.
Okay. The Miss Marvel, right?
Yeah, Miss Marvel.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, all the different Marvels. We did cover all the different Marvels on last episode, issue 3 of MCM, because we had a question about all of those. So Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, or
And
Captain
Captain
America.
America. I'll accept either of those answers. Yeah.
Let's make a poll. Let's do a poll for the next couple weeks about this, and we'll have the Twitterverse and the socials help us out with that.
Have everybody weigh
Um,
in. And if you have more questions for us, feel free. Throw us a DM, throw us a message. You know what to do.
Absolutely. You can hit us up at Marvel Cinematic Monday at gmail.com. Is that right? I think that's right.
Yes.
I'm almost positive it's Marvel Cinematic Monday at gmail.com or Twist My Arm Podcast at gmail.com. We'll do the trick as well. I think that's going to be it for the show this week. We are going to come back next week to do the finale of WandaVision. So whether or not we come back for Jazz says Captain America, lawful good man. All right, Jazz, thank you. We'll take it. Make sure to vote on the poll when we release the poll, because I would like to see everyone else's answers on that as well. But thank you guys for joining us on Marvel Cinematic Monday. Like I said, we are going to be back next Monday to do the season finale of WandaVision. I feel like there's going to be a lot going on. It's not going to be a full-on MCM, but it will be a nice special. So if you'd like to join us on that episode, we are kind of putting a call out there for anyone that wants to come join us and talk about Wanda at the end. It'd be cool to get someone on here that maybe didn't like the show at the beginning and has changed their tune, or maybe someone that just hates the show in general. I'd love to know why, because there's some people that I've asked why they hate the show and they just tell me because it sucks, and that's not a good enough answer. So I get it. This it's a weird show, but let us know your thoughts. Find us again on Twitter at MCMcast or MCM Pod, sorry, and find us on Instagram at Marvel Cinematic Monday. Chip, was there anything else you would like to say today?
No, just thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for streaming. Keep coming back.
Absolutely. And like I said, we'll be back next Monday at the same great time, at the same great place. Thanks for listening. My name is Josh.
And I'm Chip.
We are signing off from the Marvel Cinematic Monday podcast.
Later.